About a brand new show opening on Broadway tonight, Jelly's Last Jam. Good morning.
Good morning, Charles.
I have a lot of old scratchy Jelly Roll Morton records at home, which I just love, but I never knew much about him. What sort of fellow was he?
I don't think he was a fella that you'd want to spend much time with. He
Really?
was not a nice guy. He was very, very talented. He said he invented jazz. He was not a modest man. Not too many other people would say he had invented jazz, but what he did do was gather together all the different forms of jazz and then send it on the road so that it was as mainstream as it is today.
Well, whether he was a nice guy or not, he was an immortal jazz man, and this show is a big one.
It's a very big one. What's interesting about this is that this is going to be a musical about black Americans, African Americans, about an African American who wasn't a nice guy. He called himself Creole, and his definition of Creole was that he was white. Well, he wasn't fooling anybody, so black Americans didn't like him because of that. White Americans certainly knew that he was not white. He made himself an outsider for no reason. He wasn't part of any group, and people loved to hate him for that reason. But tonight, he's going to be center stage on Broadway. It's where he always wanted to be. But again, these ghosts haunt him because he's not going to be on that stage alone. He's going to have to share that center stage with Gregory Hines and the director-writer, George C. Wolfe.
In the first act, Chicago, New York, all this dazzle. They're Jelly's creations. They're Jelly's images. People strut on behind, rip off clothes very quickly, and But the thing which is what I think that the space is about is the transformational and healing power of darkness. Normally, it's light that's the healing power. This is the transformational and healing power of darkness.
That's George C. Wolfe. He likes to use the sea.
Truths that live in the night that do not live in the day.
Wolfe wrote Jelly. He's directing Jelly. Jelly is his first on-Broadway show.
At night, truth and reality exist. That's a theory. You can agree with it. I do. I wrote the show, so do you.
Jelly is George C. Wolfe's baby, and everybody in this room knows it.
Everybody should go around within the company and say, we should say who everybody is, because we got some new folks.
Hello? I'm Savion Glover.
Keith David.
Gregory Hines is Jelly. Jelly is Ferdinand Laminthe Jelly Roll Morton. During the early years of this century, he was one of the country's hottest composers and performers. He's the man who claimed he invented jazz. Jelly Roll Morton, the composer, was not really a nice guy. Talented, but not nice.
He's not necessarily a guy that I like, but he's a guy that I love. I love his arrogance. I just love the fact that he's so American, that he's made himself over into how he chooses to see himself.
There are high expectations for this show because of the very talented people Wolfe has assembled, and especially because of Wolfe himself.
Next seat is Young Jelly.
He's always wanted to do just what he's doing now, ever since he felt the power of an idea when delivered from a stage.
Yes, swing it, sweet possibility. Play a soft caress, play a neighbor, let's see.
What's more, Wolfe has always had a lot to say, especially about the African American experience. And he said it through the characters he's created.
My first pair of Converse All-Stars, gone. My first Afro comb, gone.
Here in the Colored Museum, an irreverent satire of black culture written by Wolfe, which opened off-Broadway in 1986.
Out of my line, you gotta give me another chance. Fingertips part 2, go!
Man, how can you do that? That's vintage Stevie Wonder.
You want to know how, kid?
Yeah, man.
You want to know how? Because my survival depends on it.
Frank Rich, theater critic for the New York Times.
He's concerned with so many issues that affect Black American life. The way he dramatizes them involves everything from satire to ritual to the use of music and dance, myth, masks. He really sees the theater landscape whole as well as the African American landscape.
In Spunk, Wolfe adapted 3 stories by Zora Neale Hurston. He won an Obie Award for that work.
I read these 3 stories of Zora Neale Hurston, and I said, this is theater. It's elegant language, insights about the human condition. I didn't want to string a line of wash across the back of the stage, put a goat in the front yard, and call it Catfish Row. I just wanted to create a theater piece that celebrated them.
He is an artist with a mission that is larger than himself.
Oh, why couldn't he be born with a chance to smile a lot and sing and dance?
No playwright ever can move the world, particularly politically, by boring the audience. And certainly George Wolfe is never boring.
All black shirt. Whoa, whoa. I say why.
In fact, he can be outrageous.
Be born to a show where everybody is happy.
Look at what's on a shelf in his apartment.
What does it say to you when it says song, the most successful song hit of 1901, Coon, Coon, Coon?
Makes me very scared of 1901. It makes me scared. My girlfriend took a notion against the colored race. She said if she would love me, I would have to change my face. And I read those lyrics, and I go, it is amazing that Black people are sane.
How does all of this, what Wolfe calls his offensive art, relate to Jelly?
I understand his defiance. I understand his anger. I understand his fear. They aren't mine, but I completely understand them. I have similar fears of his, but not exact ones.
But anyone expecting a diatribe from Wolfe or Jelly will be disappointed. That's not what Wolfe's theater is all about.
What I think theater really must do is delight. I mean, I think it's just because by delighting it, by an audience delighted by what they see, they surrender a resistance to a thought or an idea, and then you slip the idea in, and just where they thought they were going, all of a sudden an idea goes through, and they go, oh.
Tanya Pinkins.
Piano Man.
You're late.
Generally, when folks first meet, they say hello.
Well, the greeting took place 45 minutes ago. If you wanted to partake, you should have been here.
Part of the way you get to know something is by allowing yourself to not know what you're doing. I'm standing there actually completely naked going, I have no idea what's next. I know what comes after what's next. So let me sort of go through this muck, and then maybe on the other side, I will connect to this other little jewel that's on the other side.
Once Chimney gives me license to step in,
Exactly.
I'm right where I was.
Exactly.
As opposed to
Gregory Hines.
With George, a lot of times, you know, his power and his self-confidence comes in the fact that we're on this journey, and you're learning and I'm learning at the same time, but I feel like I have the power and I have the confidence to take us on this journey. I know what's going to be.
We get ready for the road. We get ready for the road.
He allows me great freedom to do what I want to do.
Choreographer Hope Clark.
And if he says that it's too much or I really want it this way, I grit my teeth sometimes and say, okay, you know. And 10 to 1, you see, it ends up right. See, that's the thing that gets you, see.
It's the best damn chance since way back when. It's the one last chance to howl again. It's the let's get drunk, who gives a damn? Look out, it's Jelly's Jam. Stop and shout. Turn it up, put your foot down, Daddy. Here I am, raise another Jelly's Jam.
Are you still reworking Jelly?
Oh, until it opens. I mean, until it opens. I mean, that's one conversation my mother recalled. You're still writing it? I went, yes. He said, but when are you going to be finished it? I said, just before you walk down the aisle to take your seat on opening night. That's when I will be finished.